Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Today, we're zooming in on an economic engine in Africa that is, quite frankly, absolutely massive. We're talking about a sector that employs hundreds of millions of people, literally keeping entire communities afloat. But here's the crazy part. It's almost completely invisible. So we're going to dive into a totally new model that's trying to bring this engine out into the light, and in the process, flip decades of development theory right on its head.
Okay, let's just jump right in with a staggering number, 95%. Let that sink in for a second. That is a massive chunk, right? Well, that is the slice of Africa's enormous service economy that is totally informal. We're talking about a colossal economic engine just chugging along completely in the dark, entirely off the books for official planners and state statisticians. And, that invisibility creates a really huge problem. We're calling it Africa's economic blind spot. Think about it. Trying to build a better future while ignoring a massive, unmapped economy, it's a giant challenge.
And this quote brilliantly hits the nail on the head regarding the core issue we're facing. A municipality that does not know its economic actors cannot develop. It's a simple idea, but it's profoundly true. Because these actors are invisible, it triggers this devastating domino effect. Local governments just can't collect the taxes they desperately need to fund public projects. Imagine being a city planner tasked with building the future of your city, but you're essentially flying a plane with no instruments. And for the entrepreneurs themselves, well, they're completely locked out of getting loans to grow their businesses because, on paper, they're just ghosts in the system.
So how exactly do we fix a problem this massive? Here is our roadmap for today's explainer. Number 1, Africa's economic blind spot. 2, the territorial intelligence shift. 3, the digital transformation toolkit. 4, empowering artisans and farmers. 5, the pyramid of impact. And finally, 6, realizing Agenda 2063. Let's get into it.
All right, starting off with part 1, Africa's economic blind spot. Let's get a real feel for what this missing data actually means on the ground.
The sheer scale of what's being missed here is just incredible. Over 94% of all businesses in this context are small and medium-sized. But here's the kicker. Most of them lack any sort of digital footprint. They simply aren't on any map. When 94% of your business landscape is essentially a ghost in the machine, you can't properly invest in them, you can't support them, and you certainly can't tax them to build the roads and schools they need. It is a fundamental roadblock, and it's been stalling progress for ages.
Moving on to part 2, the territorial intelligence shift. This brings us to a really crucial pivot point.
What if the solution isn't to just look harder from the top down, but to completely change our perspective and start seeing things from the bottom up? There is a stark difference with this new paradigm. The old top-down way was frankly completely disconnected. You had planners making these grand designs that totally missed the informal sector because they just couldn't see it. But the bottom-up approach, it starts right at the municipal level. It's built on real data from the field, and its entire goal is to include absolutely everyone. It's a complete 180 in thinking.
So what is actually driving this new bottom-up model? It's a concept called territorial intelligence. Now, I know that might sound a little academic, but the core idea is actually super simple. It's all about using technology to gather data directly from local businesses and people right there on the ground. This lets you genuinely understand a place's unique DNA, its strengths, its weaknesses, its real opportunities. And once you have that data, you can build development plans that are actually tailored to what the community truly needs, rather than what someone sitting in a distant capital thinks they need.
The crucial point here is perfectly summed up like this. If the base is not solid, the top cannot hold sustainably. It's incredibly intuitive. You can't build a strong, successful country on a shaky foundation of disconnected towns and cities. You've got to build that rock-solid base first at the local level, and then everything else can grow securely from there.
Okay, part 3, the digital transformation toolkit. We know the big idea, but how does it actually work in practice?
Let's run through a quick structural overview of this 4-part digital toolkit designed to make this bottom-up vision a reality. It addresses different facets of the economy through 4 distinct tools: geo-track data from municipalities, Zyner for artisans, Smart Agri 2.0 for agriculture, and eGOCS tying the whole shebang together for governance and tax collection. Let's break these down one by one to see how they actually transform the invisible into the visible.
First up is geo-track data. The best way to think about this tool is that it's basically giving eyes to the municipality. For the very first time, local governments can literally map and pinpoint every single business in their area, whether it's formal or informal. It takes them from flying blind to being truly intelligent and data-driven, letting them make targeted decisions based on what's really out there on the street.
Which brings us to part 4,
empowering artisans and farmers. Because mapping is great, but we also have to empower the individuals actually doing the work.
Let's zoom in on the specific apps doing the heavy lifting here. We've got two distinct tools built on the exact same philosophy. First is the Zena app, built specifically for craftspeople and artisan businesses in the workshop. It gives them a professional digital identity, simple accounting tools, and a digital track record to finally make them bankable. Then we have Pan-Africonnect. This plays the exact same role, but it's built for the farmer and the cooperative out in the field. It's two apps, one philosophy. Give every entrepreneur, whatever their sector, a digital identity strong enough to be seen, trusted, and financed. And it's really important to note that Pan-African Connect actually lives inside a broader framework called Smart Agri 2.0. This overarching system uses tech to literally map out farmland, which allows for smart irrigation and real-time monitoring. The result? Well, you get more food, less waste, and most importantly, it significantly increases incomes for rural farmers. It's all about modernizing a vital, essential sector right from the soil up.
Finally, the fourth tool is eGOCS, and this is the glue that ties everything together. Once businesses are mapped and these entrepreneurs are generating bankable incomes, eGOCS steps in to digitize the collection of local taxes using secure mobile payments. This is a total game changer. It brings in transparency, cuts down on corruption, and massively increases the actual funds needed to build new roads, modern schools, and hospitals.
All right, part 5, the pyramid of impact. We have all these incredible, localized tools, but how do they actually scale?
Let's see how this builds organically upwards to transform entire nations. Right at the base, the community level, the impact is tangible and immediate. Tax money goes up, city planning gets smarter, local entrepreneurs get loans. Then we move up a level to the department. As more municipalities get on board, data is pooled, allowing for coordinated programs like job training. Step 3, the regional level. The impact gets strategic here. Planners can finally see where big infrastructure like highways or power grids are actually needed, making the whole region way more attractive for investment. And finally, at the top, the state level. The country now has a reliable, solid base of statistics for making national decisions, built on real local data, not just guesswork.
And this brilliantly illustrates the whole organic growth model we're talking about. A few municipalities transform a department, several departments transform a region model region transforms a state. You don't build a strong state hoping the benefits trickle down to the community. You build strong communities that inherently fuse together to create a high-performing, modern state. It just makes total sense, doesn't it? Which leads us to our final section, Part 6, Realizing Agenda 2063. Because this whole concept is about so much more than just a clever tech fix for local governments. This bottom-up model plugs directly into the continent's biggest, most ambitious goals for the future, the African Union's Agenda 2063. When the agenda calls for inclusive economic development, that's Zena and Pan-African bring artisans and farmers into the fold. When it talks about modernizing agriculture, that's Smart Agri 2.0 in action. And when it demands transparent governance, well, that's eGOCS securing local taxes. This isn't just another tech project. It is literally a practical toolkit for making that shared continental vision a reality.
So I want to leave you with this powerful thought. For decades, the world has tried to build a better future with these huge top-down plans that so often missed the people who needed them the most. But what if real lasting change looks totally different? What if the future of an entire continent could be built from the ground up, one smart community, one smart municipality at a time? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I really hope this gave you a whole new perspective on how true development actually happens.